Up next, we have another amazing speaker in artificial intelligence. This speaker will talk about AI without chaos, the YES framework for governing AI with compliance and confidence. As the CEO of Yes AI Consulting and author of AI Without Chaos, she has spent more than 2 decades helping organizations build systems that are audit-ready, risk-aware, and built to last. A 3-time award winner, Amazon best-selling author, AI compliance architect, and featured panelist at the AI Business Summit 2026, she brings the kind of structural rigor that turns AI ambition into accountable, scalable infrastructure. Her Yes Effect framework is already changing how enterprise leaders govern AI, and today she brings it to you. Please welcome Dr. Taffany Williams. So join me in the comments as we welcome our next speaker.
I am an author, as I said before, of a book called AI Without Chaos. I'm also the CEO of Yes AI Consulting, an accredited certified consultant and a compliance architect. And let me tell you something, and I know she's going to ask a little bit later about how long I've been in, but let me tell you, I've actually gotten a Stevie Award already for the work that's been done, as well as a FinTech Award, and I am an international award-winning speaker, filmmaker, and all of the other stuff. I help a lot of companies do a lot of things. AI is moving really fast, and I think that we are all aware of that. But the thing that's interesting is that it's moving faster than governance is. There's no visibility. We're being pressured into adopting new things. Everybody's like, hey, my coworkers are doing it, my other companies are doing it, my competitors are doing it, but there is missing infrastructure. And that is what we want to look at today, because that's the core problem. There's so many risks that are being exposed through this process as well, because we are introducing speed to what may not be already structured properly. AI is not going to fix any broken system. I want to say that again. AI is not going to fix any broken system. It literally exposes it at scale. If there are broken workflows, if there's no accountability, there's no clear ownership or who has the ability to approve or disapprove of an AI tool that's being used, then that is what's going to show up when we speed it up, because AI speeds up whatever you got going on already. So that is why I introduced the YES framework. Now, many will ask, like, what is the YES framework? It is a process of pausing, purging, pivoting, and shifting. Now, this is not something that was just born out of happenstance. In 2000 and I want to say 2000, between 2004, 2006-ish, maybe even, it wasn't 9, it was about 6. I stepped onto the floor of a casino. I had never been inside the walls of a casino at that time, but I had experience with auditing regulatory industries. I had audited nonprofits, oil and gas, insurance, real estate, law, a lot of other regulatory industries, financial institutes, which a casino is a financial institute, in case you're not aware of that. But I went into that because they had used and utilized outside auditors to take care of their systems for years. Well, going in, most of the time an auditor comes, first of all, everybody scatters because they don't like auditors. But going in, instead of me just removing all of the things that appear to be problems and immediately implementing the things that they wanted to implement or what they wanted to accomplish in their customer or their patron's journey, I sat down. I literally stopped. I slowed down. I was responsible for auditing all of the departments that had anything to do with revenue generation. So whether that was the cage where the cashiers were the vault where the money is counted, the machines, even in tech, because the machines had to give out money, food and beverage, table games, and even specifically in surveillance, because they're watching how all of this money is moving around. So I sat in each one of those departments for all three shifts, because of course, casinos open 24 hours a day. And I noticed, with SOPs in my hand, I noticed that each shift was doing things differently, number one, and what was important to each one was different. And none of them were actually following what the standard operations procedure said. So the documentation was not sufficient, or they were not following the rule. Now, they were all making it happen. But what I found out is that what they were doing was not in the documentation, it was in somebody's head. So what does that mean? If there's someone that's missing that day, it throws the system off. If that person leaves or gets fired, it throws the system off. And what about onboarding? Who's onboarding? If there's one person onboarding, are they from first shift, second shift, or third shift? How are they teaching the people? What type of training is going into place in order to make sure that this particular facility runs like it should? There was no documentation. One of the key things, documentation removes the need for explanation. Now, what I did, sat there with the SOPs, looked at what was going on, and then I started asking the questions. What would make your job easier? Not faster, not more flashy, but easier, because ultimately that's the desire. When you get ease, it relieves frustration and friction. When the friction is released, then it reveals a lot of gaps. And then once the gaps are revealed, then you can kind of start leveraging what's going right, remove what's going wrong. Instead of reinventing the wheel, you literally are taking it and saying, okay, what is it that we need to do to be more efficient and more effective through clarity, documentation, structure, workflows, all of the things that were missing from that environment. Now, let me tell you what the results of that was. The results was, in that first year, we were able to save the company over $1 million. Now, that may not be very significant to many, but in this industry, which was National Indian Gaming, the money that they saved went right back into the tribe. It was not just numbers on a piece of paper. It was money that was used for education, for housing, for healthcare, for so many things. And being able to simplify was exactly what was needed in that environment to make sure that things happen. So here's what we did. We paused, we purged, we pivoted, and we shifted. Alignment before acceleration, documentation before delegation, governance before scale, and audit before automation. Now, what does that look like? That looked like, okay, this is what we're working with. This is what we need to get rid of. This is what we need to implement so we can move quickly. And coming into AI, I saw the gap between the tools, the speed, the urgency, the scarcity, all of those things that were going on in the AI implementation world, and the gap between the governance, the compliance. Are we doing things that could put us in a bad space? One of the things that happened during this time when I first looked into AI and saw this gap, I had a young man reach out to me, and he reached out to me to ask me about implementing an inbound voice agent. Sounds like a good deal. He ran a small business here in the town that I'm in, and he said, I need AI to do everything. And I said, what exactly do you need it for? Oh, I needed to do everything. I needed to answer the calls. Oh, okay. Well, how are you getting the calls? Is there advertising going out? Do they see your sign somewhere? Are you promoting on social media? Each one of the things I asked him about, he had different tools doing it. He wasn't utilizing one tool to do everything that it could do. He was implementing different tools. So guess what was happening? It was chaotic. And that's what made me write the book. It was like, what do you want it to do? If you don't have a clear alignment of what your desired customer journey looks like, and you're utilizing different tools or different ideas from each individual employee or each individual task to do something. Now you're duct taping things together and you throw AI into it. And guess what it does? It speeds up the chaos. So AI without chaos is what came to pass. The duct tape wasn't working no more, but he did. He went right along and got someone else to go and do the work and throw the new AI tool in. And I don't know how that's working out for him. I haven't circled back. I'm sure it's not working out very well. Had another situation when it comes to compliance. Someone reached out to me about an AI agent that they had established for an insurance company. Once we started looking at that AI agent, one of the things that I usually tell people is try to break it. The AI agent, the conversational agent, literally gave out some information that was completely against compliance. So I had her to send me the information that she utilized in order to train this AI agent that she had established for this insurance company. And I ran it through our system. When I ran it through the system, it came back with 12 violations. Mind you, each one of those violations would cost the company about $7,500. So she was getting ready to move a system into a extremely regulatory industry that could have cost these people their entire business that they had worked for so long. Why take the chance of building a business and letting one small thing cost you everything that you've done? I say all the time, an aligned yes opens doors that no man could open, but a misaligned yes costs you money, time, and stress. Time is a non-renewable resource. So all of the time that had been spent building that business could have been lost just like that. And all it takes is making sure that you're in compliance. And we've got a fix for that. So when we look at the governing before scale, it's a very serious thing. So what does that look like? It looks like a responsibility. We should be able to identify things. We should be able to surface the gaps. We should be able to flag the risks and make recommendations. It's called an audit. And with AI, it can be a lot simpler than what it's been in the past. I love auditing. It's probably one of my favorite things for two reasons. I help change people's mindsets on what auditors do. We protect you from having these risks things. We're not there to flag. I did not ever like flagging, never liked flagging anyone. But the beauty is we at Yes AI Consulting, we come in and help you get audit ready. I've heard the saying, stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Well, that's what it's about when it comes to what we do, because we're able to go in and do those assessments to see where you are. Are you audit ready? Are you AI implementably ready? Are you ready? So I want to just show you this right quick and see if your business or organization is ready.
But what many leaders don't realize is they've introduced it without first evaluating structure, governance, or risk. AI is not the risk. Unstructured implementation is. Right now, inside many organizations, there are no formal AI policies, no defined data boundaries, no clear oversight, and no documentation of how decisions are made, which means AI is operating without governance. Before I started working in AI, I worked in environments where mistakes had real consequences. I was responsible for auditing systems where accuracy wasn't optional, where accountability mattered, and where even small gaps could create significant loss. And what I learned in those environments was simple. You do not scale what you have not structured. You do not automate what you have not stabilized. When AI is introduced without structure, risk begins to compound. Compliance exposure, data vulnerability, operational instability, reputational risk. Not because AI is flawed, but because it was never governed. That's exactly why we built this assessment. Not to sell you software, not to rush you into implementation, but to give you visibility into what's already happening inside your organization. Because responsible AI leadership doesn't start with tools. Because responsible AI leadership starts with evaluation. What is not measured cannot be governed. This executive assessment evaluates governance gaps, data exposure pathways, operational vulnerabilities, regulatory misalignment, access control risks, and finally, we evaluate documentation gaps. This is not a quiz. It's based on structured AI audit frameworks used to evaluate risk, readiness, and governance before implementation. If you are currently using AI or considering it, this is something you want visibility on before you scale. Click below to begin your executive assessment.
And here is the QR code to go in and to start looking at what it is that you need to do, where your risk factors are when it comes to what we call shadow AI usage, and looking at the governmental audits. Thank you.